What's up, gamers? TC coming at you with another video, and today we're gonna be looking at Elden Ring Nightreign.
Band together and prepare to claim the life of the Night Lord.
Alright, so I had the chance to play the network test this weekend. I asked some of my friends to see if anyone else got the chance to play, and to my knowledge, I'm the only one. Some of them were wondering what I thought about the game, so I figured why not make a video about it. So today, I'll let you know about what I think about it. It's coming out on May 30th. I'll let you know what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and a bit how it works. So I got to play it on PS5, but the performance is so-so on the PS5, but it definitely works perfectly fine. I'm going to use some footage from another creator once I start talking about the game, so you guys have an idea of what the game looks like. It's about a half or a third of a run that you'll get to see, and it's very mild in spoilers, so I wouldn't be too worried about spoilers. There's not much spoiling to be had with this game, especially considering that in the network test we didn't have access to most of the game, I think. It's unknown to know how much of the game we actually got to play. There were 4 classes. I know there's going to be 8 at launch. And one thing I was worried about was input delay, because I've always played Elden Ring offline. Pretty much all the Souls games I've played were offline. I've done a bit of multiplayer with a few of my friends here and there. It's always been a bit of an issue. Like, it's never been their strength, first of all, for From Software to do some online gaming. So for them, it's their first real foray in the multiplayer genre here with this game. So I hope it'll go smooth. The first test on Friday morning was completely borked, I guess you could say. For me, it didn't work. I got up early just to see if it would work, and it didn't. I know a few people got a couple games in, but by Friday night, when I tried it again at 10 p.m. Eastern, it worked, and I got to play. So I got to play about 6 hours of it, and I tried 3 of the 4 classes up to date. So what is the game? Okay, so the game is directed by Ishizaki Junya. He's someone that worked alongside Miyazaki for all of the main Souls games, from what I can see. So he knows what he's doing, but it's not directed by Miyazaki. So it feels a bit more like a FromSoft B team that's like putting together a full-fledged mod, and I hope for them that it's a success, and I give them credit for trying something new, at least. Okay, so it is a roguelite. Runs don't really have a big impact on future runs. There are some gems that you can sort of install on your character before going in the run, which will give you some small tweaks or small advantages, but it's nothing that's really game breaking. And you're also limited on how many you can install on your character. Success is generally based off of skill, I would say, and there's some item drop RNG that can definitely help you succeed in the game. Full runs are about 30 minutes to 40 minutes, which is actually a pretty... I like the duration. If you go all the way to the end of the run, I feel like it's at least 30 minutes, and it could go all the way to 40. I may be wrong, but I didn't time any of my runs. The combat is fast-paced, the exploration is fast-paced, and there's 3 total main bosses to kill during one run. You can't lose during the exploration part, so if you die, you revive, and that's fine. The only time that you lose, or you finish the run, is when all 3 players are down during one of the main boss fights. You need to understand Elden Ring mechanics prior to playing this game, or else you're going to be completely lost, and you're probably going to throw the game for your team. So it's not like you can just jump into this game. It won't, at least the network test won't show you how to play. You just kind of jump in the world, and then you're expected to kind of know how all the mechanics works. and as you'll see in my little preview here, there's new mechanics on top of old Elden Ring mechanics too, which is very fun, but it's not very new player friendly, let's say. Okay, there's also a Fortnite circle concept here that leads you to the final boss of the day. So you have access to the whole map, and then as the day goes on, it gets smaller and smaller until you have to fight the main boss. Okay, and then it opens up again. So what are the classes in this game? What do we mean? So usually in a From Software game, the class is only like a starting point for your character. You start with certain stats and some starting equipment, but we all know that once you start progressing in the game, you can take the character in different directions, the direction that you would like. In this game, the class fully locks you in for the whole run, so it does have a much bigger impact on your gameplay and how you're going to progress through the game. So here are the things that the class determine in this game. So the equipment and the way you look. So there's no fashion souls in this game. There's no way to design how your character looks. You choose your class, you're going to look exactly like that for the whole run. The designs are pretty cool. I think they did a good job with them, but there's no swapping equipment. There's no equipment at all. So basically, you jump in with your equipment, I mean armor, helm, and all that. You jump in with predetermined equipment and you use that for the whole run. The starting gear that you get is always the same. So you start with predetermined weapons with which also have their own art of war attached to it. Starting stats and level progression is automatic for all classes. So once you get to a bonfire or a site of grace, if you have enough souls to be able to level up, then you press level, and then you can level up 2, 3, 4 times depending how much XP you have, and it just does it automatically. It's like you press Y and then A, and then you move on. You keep trucking. You'll see that your HP, your stamina, and your FP goes up, and then you see, and then your stats goes up by a predetermined amount you don't even see. Whatever stats you get is in line with the type of class that you chose, basically. Okay, so you don't look at stats at all. They all have their own feel. I got to play 3 out of the total 8 that are gonna come out. I'm gonna try the there's a dexterity one that I haven't tried yet. That's like a fast dex kind of character. I'm gonna try it tonight. But they all have their own feel. They even have their own kind of dodge feeling. So the caster that I played yesterday, she has like a floaty kind of dodge, whereas the 2 melee characters that I played on Friday, they had just the standard roll and standard Elden Ring dodge system. So some have a special dodge, some have just a regular style. The best part of these classes, I will have to say, is that they all have one passive which slightly alter how you want to play. Like the tank, you know how sometimes you get hit by a boss or a large hit, you get knocked over and you kind of do a backflip? Well, the tank will not get knocked over in certain situations, so it does alter a bit how you play. But what really makes a bigger impact are the 2 active skills that you have access in this game. You have one that's on a low CD. The character that I probably enjoyed the most has a hook shot that you can use every, I don't know, I'd say 6 seconds. It's pretty short cooldown. It doesn't cost any FP. It's free off cooldown. So if it's off cooldown, you can use it anytime, and it doesn't cost anything to use it. So it was really interesting to fight with this extra skill that is up most of the time. So that's a super cool addition. And then you have a second active skill that you can activate, which is a much longer cooldown. You might call it an ultimate. It's a stronger spell, and you have to wait longer to use it. Usually you might use it once, maybe twice in a boss fight. So these 3 additions really alter how you approach the game, and it really defines the difference between regular Elden Ring and this Nightreign mod, we could say. So what are the things I like about the game? It's the first time that I would want to engage with multiplayer in a FromSoft game, because it's designed especially for PvE. It's designed for multiplayer, so I expect connections and all that to be smooth and easy compared to what I've experienced in the old Dark Souls games, which is not easy and not very smooth. Also, I like having runs that have like this kind of concept of time limit, right? So either you die early and the run doesn't take super long, or it's like max 40 minutes, like I said. I like this idea of contained time because it's better just for my time management for my life. It's a bit like playing Dota. You're like, okay, I want to play a game, cool. Let's reserve an hour to play a game, and then, you know, after the game ends, it's like, okay, do we go again or do we just stop? I like that kind of gaming because Elden Ring can really suck me in, and the progression and all that, to the point where maybe I have a harder time controlling how much gaming I want to do. So these runs are actually pretty nice for that. Also, I really like the skills. Like I said, the skills that they added is a really cool idea. They make combat not only feel new and fresh, but it's even deeper combat because of these class skills that they added. There's a new super sprint, so holding B will make you sort of run as you normally would in a FromSoft game. But now if you click the left joystick, you will activate like a super sprint which runs pretty much as fast as the horse torrent in Elden Ring. So they kind of incorporated the horse moves into each character. So you have that super sprint. You can even activate it during battles too. It takes a chunk of stamina to activate, and then the stamina actually regens while you're sprinting. So I thought that was a pretty cool idea. And you can sprint across the world pretty fast. Also, the jumping is, I think it's higher. And also when you jump and you clip, you like it's a bit like Sekiro, where you'll clip like the edge and then you'll do like a second jump to get over. So you're like climbing stuff pretty well. It's not the torrent double jump, but it's close to that, and it works very well to scale. You can like move up mountains and stuff like that. There's also a shop that I think is pretty interesting. So you can spend souls to buy like a higher level weapon. They're pretty basic weapons, but it's weapons that might have more damage than you're doing right now, so it might be worth it. You can also upgrade your basic weapon to make it stronger if you don't find weapons that are really good. So if you have bad RNG, you can sort of find a shop, and then you can at least upgrade your gear to a point where you're not completely nerfed out of the game. So that was a cool addition there. You can use the like big wind torrents from Elden Ring, where you would jump with super high with the horse. Now you just run up and you jump without the horse. You just jump up. I think that's pretty cool. You can also find like a spirit tree that will give you an eagle, and you can ride like horizontally across the map, but there's specific wind currents, so you can't just go anywhere, I think. But it's a way to traverse the map, which is interesting. I like that. It's pretty cool. Also, the last thing I'm going to say is when you kill a mini boss, you get everyone gets to choose between 3 choices. So it's not like it drops loot and then you're like, oh, let's figure out, because the small chests, it's like that. Items come out, you kind of figure out who should grab what. Some are more obvious for different classes and stuff like that. But when you kill any mini boss or main bosses, you kind of go up to this spirit, and then it gives you 3 options. You choose one, anyone you like the most. There's no sharing, and then you move on. So that's a really good way to do it, in my opinion. Now let's go see what I don't like about the game. So what I like what I miss about original Elden Ring is the character building aspects, right? So that's something that I really like about the original game. You figure out what weapon, what stats, how you're gonna, what armor, how you're gonna look, and all that. It's really fun to build characters in all of the Dark Souls games. It's something that I think lacks in Sekiro. I understand why it's not in Sekiro. It is my favorite game of all time, but there's that aspect that's not there in that game, which I really enjoy from all the other From Software games. So that's not there. It's meant to be like that. I understand why it's not there. It's still something that I kind of miss. The first 5 to 10 minutes feels very samey right now in the network test. You're level 1. You always start with the same equipment if you use the same class, and it does. The areas are pretty similar, so it does feel quite samey, and then you start getting a few weapons, and then the run becomes its own thing, maybe 10 minutes in. So that early part of the run is a bit samey and not as fun. The content in general is lacking right now. It's hard to know how much they're gonna come out with on launch. So we'll see about that. It feels like it could get boring to explore the same area over and over. So hopefully there's more variety in bosses, in areas, in just things that you're doing in the game. I understand that time is a factor in this game, and it's necessary to have like a time limit in the game. But it's also something that I'm not used to. Like, I'm used to taking my time as much as I want. Whether it's like figuring what items to get, figuring where to go next, fighting enemies, like some builds are slower than other builds, right? It's fun that time is never an issue in any Souls games. But this one, it's definitely, it's a big part of the game. You got to go fast. If you want to be strong enough to beat the final boss, you don't want to mess around and just waste your time on the map. So you're going around fast, you're figuring stuff fast, and there's a part of that I think is cool, but you're also losing the part where it's like you can't just sit there, think about what you want to do. You kind of got to go. So that's one thing that I think is a bit unfortunate, but I understand why it's like that. The good thing is that the three main bosses that you're going to fight, there's no time limit for that, right? The time limit will lead you to the main boss. Once once you're in the boss arena, you could say, you have as much time as you want to finish the boss. So that's great. So that's how the runs can maybe take longer or less time. It's depending on how long you take to beat the bosses. Okay, more things. Solo queuing. So like, just, solo queuing means you queue for the game. You get two random people that join you. On the PS5, there's no chatting. There's no mics. There's only little pings you can use. So there's no communication. It's a bit rough. I know it's a new game and stuff, but some people are just lost. Some people kind of refuse to kind of play together. I've had a few groups that are really good. I've beat the game once, and I got really close a couple times. Once with only another player. It was fun to sort of spam the shield, do. It's just funny. It made me laugh sometimes the way we would communicate. But I don't see myself enjoying this game a lot if that's the only way I can play. So it's a big thing for me. So basically, to get to my final point here, the potential killer for this game for me is this no cross-platform play. So PC gamers can't play with Xbox, can't play with PS5. So they're really separating the three ecosystems in three groups. And that's really unfortunate because I think this is a game I could really enjoy with my friends, with people I know, people that are willing to go on Discord and talk and have okay, you're going to lead this time. Okay, and then someone's like, oh, let's go here. Let's go to the church. I like going to the church because you get an extra flask. So I would always ping the church, and people, my team just whatever. They're doing their own thing. They're not coming to the church. So I end up going to the church alone because I'm like, it's too worth it for me, because once you get to the last few bosses, having one or two extra Estus flask charges is really clutch in my opinion. So it'd be fun to be able to play with friends. I think it'll be a blast. It's just I don't see myself buying it on anything else than PC at this point. I think it's going to be the best place to play, which is unfortunate because I already have at least 3 teachers at school that are interested in playing with me, but they're all not on PC. So it's boom, there's people that I would really enjoy playing with that I don't think I'll ever be able to if they never change this cross-platform system they have. I know it's complicated, and for them it's their first time doing a multiplayer game, so it kind of makes sense that they didn't go the full cross-platform route, but at the same time, it might be a reason why I don't get the game. So unless I can convince 2 to 4 of my friends to get it on PC, I don't even think I'm buying it day one, because I don't see myself just solo queuing and playing with random people all the time that kind of do their own thing and don't want to communicate and play together. I feel like I'm just going to get frustrated. There's some runs that are going to go very smooth, like the ones I've already had, but it's not enough. It's not enough for me to really go all in this multiplayer kind of way and enjoy this game. So that's pretty much where I'm at. The pricing is at $53 Canadian. I guess that's like $40 USD. I think from what I've played, feels a bit expensive to me, honestly. It is a big glorified mod in the end, but I don't think there's like fans that could create this. So it is unique, and I'm glad that they're trying something new with this. But I'm gonna wait for reviews. I'm not pre-buying this. I'm gonna wait to see what is the content, what is the full game, and then I'm glad that I got to try it. I know how it feels, so I'll be able to make a decision. And the other big part is can I get friends to get it? So if I can get at least 2 friends that I know would play here and there somewhat regularly, then I'd probably be convinced to get it. Even at $53, I think it would be worth it. But honestly, if I can't get anyone to play with me on PC, I don't see a reason to get it. So that's pretty much my final verdict. Wait for reviews. Check to see if people are willing to play with you. And also check to see if there's connectivity issues on launch. I could see that really being an issue for them since they're new to it. And it was a big issue on the first 3 hours on Friday morning. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't launch so smoothly. So I'm a huge Elden Ring fan. It's my second most favorite game of all time. I hope this Nightreign is a success. I hope people want to play with me, and I hope the content is enough to keep us engaged, because it's a really cool way to explore Elden Ring and what it's about. So that's all for me today. I hope you have a good day, a good night, and peace out.